Hello, listeners. Is that a good one?
That was really good.
Welcome back to Two Sweet Reviews podcast. This is the first one we've done in a while. I think we taped our year-end ones late December, but this is the first time we've been back. So this week, or this month, or whatever the hell you want to call it, we're going to break down a few festival lineups that we're intrigued by. We just may be going to both of them, hoping to find some cool new bands for you to check out that intrigue us from our listening. And then from there, we're going to do a little announcement on our 100th review.
Woo! Yeah, buddy.
So, boys, I mean, we're all going to a festival again together. That is great news. Over the past week, for anyone that's listening, myself and Roz were going to Primavera Sound in Barcelona for a few months now, and we've been secretly hinting and trying to encourage our dear friend Rito to join us, and happy to say he surprised us with a picture of a ticket earlier this week, and he's officially in on Primavera Sound. Stoked you're coming. Stoked we're doing this together. So much fun last year at Coachella, and can't wait to do it again.
It would have been amazing to drop it on this podcast, but we wouldn't have been talking about
it. You've been sending way too many cryptic like devil emojis, and like I knew something was up, but I was like, "There's no way!" Like what? It still was a twist. Like I did not think you were gonna come. So this is amazing. When we went to Coachella, I was like, if we could make this like an annual thing, at least hit one festival. And by God, we're doing it again. This is gonna be great, guys. This is gonna be great.
Cannot wait. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of out of nowhere, but always kind of hope deep down that you would go. And like me and Roz were like kind of talking on the side, and it's like, how are we gonna cover Prim? How are we gonna do this for two TSR? Like, are we gonna really shove it in Reed's face and make him feel bad that he's not here? It's like, yeah. How do we do this? We're Two Sweet Reviews. It's three of us that do literally everything.
Do we do like TWO Sweet Reviews?
Yeah, I'm really happy it worked out. It was just a work thing. It's never that I didn't want to go. Like obviously, super stoked. And the lineup, my God, the lineup. So
yeah. Speaking of which, yeah, guys, so we'll stop throwing it in your face that we're going to Primavera and try to find you some bands here to listen to from it. The lineup is absolutely stacked. For those not aware of this festival, it takes place in Barcelona in early June, and it's kind of like the European Coachella in that the lineups are just so deep. They just find really good music consistently and have like the biggest budgets and stuff. So check out the full lineup if you're interested. If you just so happen to be there and you're listening to us, drop us a line and we'll go over it. But I think first we're just gonna try to dig into some bands that we like. Anyone want to start?
The headliners.
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar. Like
Kendrick Lamar. We all actually saw, there's a fun fact for the crowd out there. We saw Kendrick Lamar, but at the time we were not Two Sweet Reviews. I believe me and Lundy were together and Ree was in a different group. But that was great. What year was that? 2016 Osheaga? We did that?
2016 was Radiohead, I think. 2015, probably.
Yeah, it was. I think it was Lundy, the first festival we went together too. I think. Yeah. The first one.
Kendrick was the Fog year, right?
The Fog year, yeah. It was like you barely made it in. You should tell that story. That's actually a really funny story.
Yeah, I don't want to depress myself. I ate like fucking. I was really sad.
It's so many cheeseburgers.
So I guess my impressions on the lineup, guys, is just one of the big things is that you have your Kendrick Lamar, you have your Calvin Harris, your Rosalia. You have bands that would headline festivals here in North America, but the music scene is really different over in Europe, and there's a couple bands here that I don't ever see the day they're going to headline Coachella again, and that's Depeche Mode and Blur, two big Euro bands that did have some success in North America, but not crazy. But I never really personally listened to them until I got into this, and while I haven't got much further than their greatest hits albums and really digging into it, there's obviously a clear reason these guys are headlining massive festivals. They are awesome. You know, Depeche Mode from back in the 60s or 70s, I think, and Blur was huge in the 90s with Oasis during the Britpop movement. Most people may know Blur from Gorillaz with the lead singer Damon Albarn fronting both bands. Just high energy, both bands. Going to be fantastic for anyone who, you know, may not have dug into them, might have heard of them. They're certainly worth a listen. You know, like I said, there's a reason they're headlining these massive festivals, even though it might not be in North America.
It's one of those Blur's like one of those bands where you're like, who are they? And then you hear a song, you're like, oh yeah, those guys. You know what I mean? Like they have that kind of pull. So that's gonna be great. And like Depeche Mode, like you said, back in like, you know, decades ago, but the sound still holds up to this day. Like I've been watching live shows, like their performance is amazing. And it's like a big festival kind of appeal. Like, you know, it's going to be good in a live setting. So I'm extremely excited for that. And the new album they put out, I'm really digging into that too. So it's going to be great. It's going to be really great.
Yeah. To anyone who is unfamiliar with them, I'm right there with you. Because I just joined this pursuit last week, so I did not torture myself for months listening to music of a festival I was not attending. So I'm right there with you. I've thrown some stuff on, and I've liked some. I got to warm up to others, but I mean, you just look at some of the YouTube videos. They're fantastic. The crowd is unbelievable, and it gets me super stoked. The weather's getting nicer. Festival season's coming. Like, it's just go, go, go. Come on with it.
I love you were like down in Mexico on your recent trip, and you were like sending like Mos Def songs in the group and being like, listen to this, and then I would like send back a Blur song and be like, yeah, listen to this, or send back a Depeche Mode song and be like, yeah, this song's really good.
You were just like pushing all of his interests out of his brain and just like, hey, what about this though? It's way different.
Yeah, it's really good, and you can see it live with your buddies.
Yeah, the low price of
yeah. So I mean, that's the top line. Some other cool bands, guys. I don't know if you pick up on anything from the second lines other than me, but I'm just gonna run down through some. Really liking Dark Side, which is a cool rock slash kind of, I don't know how to explain them. They're really kind of mellow, but interesting sounds for sure. Obviously, we have Turnstile, which was a massive hit for us at Coachella. Pusha T, your boys. Albums of the year, songs of the year, which is stoked. We've got the Fortet, Fred Again, Skrillex, back to back, which is a massive hit right now, selling out Madison Square Garden. And then on the last day of the festival, you know, we got St. Vincent, The War on Drugs, Maggie Rogers, and our recent girl and leader of album of the year, I would say, is Caroline Polachek.
Isn't it insane that so for the listeners, when we ramped up Coachella, we got the tickets like it was like summer before the show. It was like way. And it's like, you get to a point where there's a couple of us going, or a few of us, and it's like, you got to figure out who you're going to see, because there's going to be clashes, obviously. And there were clashes up until we were getting off the plane. There was a clash because Arcade Fire just showed up. So it's like, you don't know. So Caroline Polachek at the time we got axed. And then now it's just so funny. A year later, she's the highest rated album so far of the year of 2023 for us. And it's going to be like a must see. It's just insane how you know, music kind of flows like that. And I'm extremely excited to see Caroline. I don't know about you guys.
Same. Yeah. And Maggie Rogers, similar in that capacity too. Like, she was also, not that we ever would have skipped Fred to go see her, I don't think, just given his blow up and seeing him before, but you know, it's just the hardness of going to this festival is like, there's always so many great bands to see, and you know, there's 6 to 8 stages basically playing music at once, so it's always hard.
You're always making sacrifices. That's why we were on the cusp of like both cello. It's like, why don't we just stay? Why don't we just do it twice? You could do it twice and get 2 things. I actually have something funny to say to you, Lundy. I was going to wait until we got on here. I've been listening. So for everyone, Lundy has made a really good playlist of like the highlights of all the bands that we're looking forward to at Primavera. And Lundy, I've come around, and if anyone's read the review for Caroline Polachek, I've come around to Sunset
Yeah, you have.
Oh,
It's because it's the
I
best
was-
song on the album.
I was singing it. I was singing it earlier, like just like bumping to it. I was like, oh no. I have to go back and like change my review. Like it's like this is actually kind of a banger.
It's an absolute banger, is what it is. It's so good.
It was like a slow burn. Like it just like it burrowed inside of me and came out like like a month later. So anyway, yeah, Carolyn Polachek's Sunset for everyone or anyone who's
It's
seen
so
it
good.
reviews.
It's so good.
Man, that show, I'm very curious to see how that show goes. Have you guys watched any like anything live or just?
No,
No,
I
I
do
haven't.
I do remember like when she was opening for Dua Lipa, she was getting like incredible press on her show. So like
No way.
I don't know it to the point that, if it's something that we'd be into, but I know like she gets like must see territory in terms of where she's at in her career. I mean, she's 2 albums in, they're both massively critically acclaimed, and suddenly she's like second line on these massive festivals. It's quite the come up.
It's crazy. I've actually noticed like there's a couple bands that we saw like Coachella right after COVID. We're getting some bands again, like Turnstile, for instance. These bands are blowing up, and then there's COVID, and then they come back. It's like it's gonna be nice to see them or interesting to see them kind of reacting after touring for a bit. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Even like Fred again. We saw Fred
Yeah.
again at Coachella, and he was basically crying on stage because he blew up in like 2020. And to see him now like thriving with a giant live show and all these elements
Yeah.
going on, it's going to be really
Yeah.
interesting to see the evolution after all these kind of COVID bands kind of blew up.
You
right?
made a good point in the group chat that it's a different part of the world. I mean,
Yeah.
Andy, you made a good point, but I'm expecting those crowds to be big now. Like Turnstile a year later, like man, you look at online, Instagram, those crowds are huge and they are electric. And I can't wait. When do you say you're moshing this time?
I'm not.
We were all this close to moshing. It's like, how, are we all? Are we? Can we do it? Will we survive? Maybe
Yeah,
not.
I think we just mosh individually, and like someone holds the stuff while the other one goes moshes, and we just rotate
Yeah.
back.
It's like a lifeguard. You one moshes and then 2 like save them if they fall down or something, and then we'll just rotate.
I'm just like looking up Fred right now to see where he was. Like he was 3rd line, like last on the list, like tiny font in
Nothing.
2022
It was nothing.
when we went to see him. And I remember when we started watching his live videos that he started doing on YouTube, and he blew up. Like we were seeing him at like that when the peak was, or not the peak, like he's starting to rise, and it was just
Yeah.
like we were at the bottom of that mountain, and right now he's just crazy. He's like sub-headlining festivals now.
There's something so special about like seeing the lightning in a bottle and then like being there. You can basically touch them. You're so close to it. Like you sent me, I didn't even know. I'm the biggest fan of Fred again ever right now, and you were like, oh yeah, the forums are saying there's this guy who like is pretty good, and I was like, oh yeah, and then I watched like his rooftop live. Says like that's insane, and then he had a boiler room in the UK and he blew up, and now he's like selling at Madison Square Garden like a year later. Like it's in like music is an insane kind of concept where you can kind of become extremely famous in a short amount of time.
Crazy momentum.
Oh my god! It's just if you hit the stride, good. Like if you just like catch the wave, then you're just gone. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, he's just so good, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's making great music too. One of the best things about it is when we reviewed his album there last year. Me and Rito didn't love it, but I think in both of our reviews we're like, this guy's just meant to be seen live. Like it's not, neither one of us were like, this is something I listen to every day or whatever, and teach your own on that kind of thing. But I was like, he is built to see live. Like even his live show with the videos and his lyrics and the way he makes like fan videos for them to interact with just makes that live experience that much more special. And yeah, I mean, I can't wait for that again. And I know Roz is gonna go crazy and grab me every time a song comes on and be like, it's this song.
It's this. and then every time I'll go, this is my favorite song.
Yeah.
Every song. This is
Yeah.
my favorite. Then I'll go, this is actually my favorite song. For every song, I'll do that.
I didn't think he'd play this one. It's like his number one hit.
I think he'd play, he'd play We Lost Dancing. What would he play that for?
has no idea where we are either geographically.
Yeah. No.
That's it.
Let's go down the list here and talk about some others. So
Yeah. Go ahead.
we also have Japanese Breakfast, number one album for me and Lundy a couple years ago, and top 5 for Roz as well. Alex G, who had a critically acclaimed album last year. Calvin Harris, which I'm sure is going to be a banger show, whether you love him or not. I mean, festival environment with radio hits or his own hits, I'm sure is going to be a great time. Always.
Guys, always is, oh God. I can't believe I haven't seen them. They've been dodging me all this time. They're from in London. You've seen them what? Twice,
yeah.
All from Cape Breton to Barcelona.
0 for me as well, and is the only artist that landed on all 3 of our top 5 albums list of last year. So that'll be a treat.
Blue Red, listen to it.
We have Daphne.
Yeah.
God. Once again,
we have the Bets.
That Bets was in contention for best, highest rated album at least of the year, and until recently. So yeah, very good album.
I think Lundy may have mentioned we have St. Vincent.
St. Vincent. I don't think I did, but yeah, go ahead.
My Morning Jacket.
Yeah.
So what do you guys? So hold on. What do you guys think? Because you keep telling me, because we that was one of our first reviews, and I was not hugely into it. But you guys are saying they're kind of like country now. They're not even really. I figured that'd be a big rock show.
I don't. I think they're just like they've made so many albums. It's like Wilco as well. They just made so many albums at this point that they're like, we're sick of making that strictly rock music, so we're gonna make this country infused album. and they're just one of those bands, like, they find a couple songs on an album, but Z is really like where everyone gravitates it.
I wonder if they play any of Z.
Oh, they definitely do.
They got to play stuff from Z for sure.
Yeah, it's so good.
Off the record and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We continuing. We have Surf Curse.
Yep.
The Voids from Julian Casablanca's side project from the Strokes.
Do you have any insight on them? Like, what are they like? Like, I know it's Casablanca's lead, but like, are they? They obviously don't play any Strokes songs, but like, is he? No. Like, are they big? Are they?
Why are they so? Yeah, why are they so low on the card? They're so low.
They're just not big. So I mean, I'm a huge Strokes guy, and I bought their first CD. That was when I bought CDs back in university, and I threw it on, and I was like, man, what the am I listening to? Like, it was terrible, honestly. But their second album is sweet, is really good, and you guys should listen to it when you get a chance. It's much more accessible. And I'm looking forward to it. I kind of don't know what to expect because Julian's a little all over the place, but definitely worth the show.
I listened to when you gave us some Void songs like way back. I listened to a couple. I enjoyed their sound. It's gonna be weird just to see like Casablanca to me is like a huge famous person. He'll just be in this like side band, just hanging out like in the low mid card of a festival. It's gonna be weird. I'm excited for that for sure.
Yeah, cool. The album Virtue is the one you got to check out.
Yeah, that one's good. I remember that one.
So Roz's dude, I may get the pronunciation wrong, Ben Bomer.
Ben Bomer. That is my dude, Bomer, for sure. So that's actually an interesting one because he's on like the DJ day, which is what, like Sunday in brunch?
Yeah, it's a brunch thing.
It's a classic Sunday brunch after a 3-day rock festival. A
3-day 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. festival. Yeah, that's one really funny thing about this that we didn't mention. Like, most festivals, for anyone that's been to them, they run from like 2 p.m. in the day till 10 p.m. because most cities have a curfew. But this is in Spain where they just presumably don't sleep. So the festival starts at 6 p.m. and you're just there till 6 a.m. and then you sleep all day, I guess.
Lundy, me and you, we went to Spain back in 2017. They have like a middle of the day nap. They close everything in the middle of the day. Siesta. They have a siesta. Like, we're just gonna sleep. We're gonna sleep from like 3 to 6 and then stay up all night. All right, Spain.
So I'll keep going here with some. This is my intrigue list. So I may not know a lot about them, but they do. I'm like, if we have a chance. So Anderson .Paak is playing with No Worries and Knowledge, and the O's are X's. I'm not really sure what that's about, but Anderson .Paak, like love him or hate him, I don't love throwing an album. I don't love it, but he's incredibly talented. What's that library show that everybody does?
It's Tiny Desk
Tiny
concert.
Desk.
Tiny Desk, yeah.
Library, tiny library. Very
Tiny
quiet
Tiny
very
library.
loud. It's called a very loud library.
Tiny library. Yeah.
Anyway, super talented, very good.
I have a question. I'm surprised he's not, he had the whole, like, how many goddamn band he was in Silk Sonic with Bruno Mars. Like, is he just like jumping around, joining bands and just?
I think he's just like, I love music. He's like, you want to make music? I want to make music.
I'll make, you got 6 months.
Yeah.
I'll make whatever you want. And I'll do one festival.
Because like he showed up, like it's so funny. Like he's a pretty big name, but he showed up at the Super Bowl too. It's like Dr. Dre. He just like he did nothing, but he just played the drums for Dr. Dre. He's just like,
I just
like
love.
why is Anderson .Paak here? Like, come on.
It's like the golden retriever of Hollywood. Just looks enjoys like doing stuff. That's funny.
I have Yard Act. I think we shared an album.
I've been listening to a lot. I love it. I love how they don't lose the accent. They have this thick, heavy accent when they sing, and it's just such a down to earth kind of. I don't know if they're British or Australian.
Yeah, they're British. They're British.
I love that. It's just almost like spoken word. Like
I was just about to say that. Like I don't usually love spoken word music. Like, but it's like with the accent and the way and it's like funny too. Like talking about like buying a house or something. There's one who's like fixer upper or whatever it is.
Yeah, fixer upper. I need a smoko. I need a smoko.
Yeah.
I don't know what a smoko is. I want one too.
and then their chorus are all these like these upbeat energy like rock songs. So it's that's gonna be
really fun. I'm super down for that. Like just noisy, weird kind of thing. Like you just know that crowd is gonna be just like really into it. They're all there for that, right?
All right, keep going. So BC asked me to listen to these guys at his Super Bowl party, and apologies, BC, but I haven't got around to it. Black Country New Road. Ross did a spotlight on him.
Hey, talking about BC, I led that. I put a lot
of
work
no. BC led that charge. He told you to listen to it. You did the
review. But did he write did he write a review and put it on the website? No, he didn't.
No. These guys are the most intriguing band on the lineup to me because I really like their album, but they've been well spoken that they're not going to play a single song from this album because their lead singer isn't with them anymore. So I'm just like, you don't have any music. What are you guys doing? Like what are they going to do? They have no music.
Like I have so much anxiety. If my lead singer quit, I would just be like, let's just not play anything. Let's not go anywhere. No one's gonna enjoy this.
Just gonna do wagon wheel, I'd say.
Just go and play the drums and play like no singer. Like do instrumentals.
So I got a few more here. Do any of you guys know anything about Rosalia?
No, Spanish girl. She had a really good album. Yeah.
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 I feel like she'd be cool to go see, but I find a really hard time listening to music that I can't like sing along to or enjoy, and I can't speak Spanish. So
that Bad Bunny song on that Gorillaz album, Cracker Island, that was
it didn't stop any of us with Sean Paul though.
Sean Paul,
yeah, Sean Paul.
You can say temperature and
yeah.
You need a couple words.
All right, I'm almost at the end of the list. So the Moldy Peaches, just because their name, like
okay, I haven't listened to them.
Are they on the list? Are they in the playlist? I haven't.
No, I don't think so. No.
Bad Religion. They're like a 90s punk, right?
Bad Religion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sound familiar.
My buddy at work said Bleachers are good.
Okay.
I've heard that.
And the last three are all EDM: Camel Fat, Purple Disco Machine, and Diplo.
That's just brunch, boys. That's the brunch right there. We're just gonna get it back to back to back, whether you like it or not. We're just gonna get all the crowd there. That's
Bleachers is Jack Antonoff. That's why it's.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Did he just like write Taylor Swift or help her write that out?
Yeah, he's a producer, but he also has his own band.
Oh no way!
Yeah.
I got a quick couple. On day number 1, we have The Comet Is Coming, which are like this instrumental band. They're playing like these crazy long, like 10-minute songs, but they remind me of like DJ music but played live, and I think it'd be really cool to see.
Yeah.
And who was the other one?
Is it Dark Side? Because
Oh,
I've been digging Dark Side a
Dark
lot.
Side. No, I mentioned them earlier, but they are really
Yeah.
good. But the other one, I'm pretty interested in what Death Grips are. I don't know, like, have you guys
Man,
came across them on
there's a
this
song
playlist
on
yet?
that. There's a crazy song on the playlist from them, and it's wild. It's like EDM, but like heavy metal. It's what I don't know what's
Yeah,
going
it's
on.
very interesting, and I've seen it. I've seen it thrown around that they just have like, I think they have like crazy fans, like kind of along the turnstile lines. Like it's like a
Yeah,
mosh,
it
like
definitely
a
has that
crazy
vibe.
rock show.
Yeah, it has that death
Uh,
metal kind of energy to it.
yeah, but I don't know much about them either. But intrigued.
It's
Roz,
scary. I'll just spit out a band and let me know if you guys heard this like through your listening. So, Nation of Language.
yeah,
It was
good.
like an upbeat kind of rock kind of
Yep,
vibe to it. I really enjoyed. The Soft Pink Truth, very
yeah.
groovy rock. They just really don't do that. This is really there was a guy named, all right, it could be anyone. It was called Boris, and it was like it was almost like
Boris.
it was like noisy. It was like a grungy noise, but like also like ambient. Boris, yeah, I don't know. It was really good. Boris, no Boris.
Boris, very nice. I
Um,
like.
and then the last one was Jockstrap, which was one that was
Ah,
critically acclaimed last year that we never did. But I love it. They're just so weird. I love the weirdness of them. Those kind of bands. I'm like, I wonder what it's like in person. Boys, it's going to be a great time, but I think we should move on to something a little more topical to our fan base and move into a festival a little closer to us in Osheaga 2023 in Montreal. What do you guys think?
yeah, I think this is a really good lineup. I'm stoked to go. Haven't really dove into it as much as Primavera because it's about 2 months after. But upon release, there's a lot of really good stuff there. Generally a pretty cheap festival too, like 300, $400 plus a flight to Montreal. Montreal's cheap to stay in. Like, highly encourage people who just love live music to take a chance on this, even if you don't know the names. Just, generally, like, we don't have a festival in Canada that really stacks up to this. Blues Fest and FEQ are really good bang for your buck, but they're also like 2 weeks long and you got to stay there. Like, the jam packed of and quality that Osheaga always manages to put into this 3-day weekend. The vibes are amazing there. The festival site itself, it's just ran really well. If anyone's looking for something to do, I highly recommend Osheaga. And plus, the lineup's pretty damn good.
It
It's
is really
so
good.
fun, and I have some music friends that have never been to festivals, and I'm like, man, you got to take one in at some point in your life, just to experience, even if you don't like the lineup, just to live the festival weekend. And you mentioned the vibes going on. It's everything's so positive. The food's good. The drinks are good. The people are all there to have a good time, and it's just such a great weekend with friends. Even if the lineup isn't really your cup of tea, like if you have time off this summer, like entertain the thought of going. I highly recommend it.
And it's like bang for your buck wise, like in this economy with inflation. There's a band I was looking at to go to later this month, and it's M83. It was like $150 for double that. You can see 40 bands. Like, really,
Yeah.
you can see the band you like. You can see a lot of bands you might not even know about that you'll enjoy, and you'll have a great experience. It's definitely worth it. And like Reed said, the experience is unmatched. You'll have a great time. You'll make new friends, and it'll be something you'll remember for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
Here's one of the
I
most
mean,
powerful things like I can say about Coachella too, or sorry, about Osheaga, is the fact that we went to Coachella and this is like the cream of the crop, and there are a pretty decently long list of things that I think Osheaga does better. Like, it could be to do with their grounds, it could be to do with access to alcohol. Like,
No
there's
beer tents.
there's just like it's kind of crazy. Like, I don't know, I haven't done a whole lot of other festivals to really compare, but when you read about them and people just say how well Coachella's ran and how well it stacks up musically, and I mean, like, yeah, Osheaga doesn't have the budget, but man, if you compare them on what you get per dollar, it's really hard to beat it.
Yeah, and I mean, before you even get to the festival, the city.
Yeah.
Montreal is an
Yeah.
amazing city in the
Beautiful.
summer. Hopefully, you'll get some nice weather. You have a beautiful weekend. Montreal's amazing. New City Gas, like
Yeah, nice
come on with it.
culture. The nightlife is amazing. The after shows are amazing. Just the culture. Even if you're not into like going to after shows, just going around to the history and the architecture and just everything. Montreal is a beautiful city. One of the most beautiful cities in Canada, I would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean it's so European. It's great vibes. Highly recommend it. So guys, if we just look at it from the top here again, headliner wise, we double down on Kendrick Lamar here, and then we have Billie Eilish and Rufus Du Sol, a personal favorite of TSR. All critically acclaimed by TSR. Actually, I believe. I think every album would have probably fell in the eights.
Yep.
At least. So I mean, right there, you're stacked, and I know that's where a lot of people start with is the headliners, and that really makes or breaks if they want to go to something. But it's so much more about what's on the lines after that. You're gonna have a great time at those 3 headliner shows, but that's from 8:30 to 10 o'clock. You're gonna be there from 2 to 8:30, and what you fill your time with there on Friday, Saturday, Sunday is what's gonna make or break it. And what are you guys seeing on this that you would like to fill your time with?
I mean, first of all, just to add to what you said, so Billie Eilish was at Coachella, but me and the boys are young 30-year-olds here, and
We're getting older. We're getting older.
We were hurting units,
Yes.
and I feel bad looking back on it, but I remember how my body felt at that moment in time. Like we couldn't do it. But I would love to see a full Billie Eilish show. Kendrick, obviously, and we often talk about Rufus Du Sol and the sunset and how beautiful it is because we've seen it together a handful of times. But Rufus at nighttime as well is just going to be amazing, and that closing environment. Oh my God, I can just imagine like the light show, everything going on there, like. And for anyone that doesn't know, I travel a lot for work, and so getting uh, flight tickets somewhere is very inexpensive for me. Mostly, it comes down to my schedule. If I can, Ross, if I can swing it, I may try to stop in for a weekend in Montreal. It's not looking good right now, but I may try.
Yeah, so I find guys, I don't know if like Lundy said how a lot of like Osheaga for being a smaller festival with a smaller budget, they do a lot of things better than Coachella, which is like the landmark festival. And I've always agreed. I feel that Osheaga is one of those festivals that they're really good at like balancing out their genres, balancing out the kind of acts they get. Like I can look at this lineup right now and there's like a mix of electronic, you have rock, you have rap, you have everything. Obviously, you have Rufus Du Sol no longer doing their sunset sets. We're going to get an actual, probably giant light show end of the night kind of set. That would be amazing. We have some people here we've seen already in the past. 2 Feet, a great electronic / rock kind of singular act that's really good. There's a DJ here, Bicep. I don't know if anyone out there or if you guys have seen Bicep live. You should YouTube it. It's just a really good one of those almost caribou shows, electronic, very high level kind of electronic acts. Really, really good. And I see a lot of things here, guys, that we've done. Like we've done the Backseat Lovers. You know what I mean? We've done Soccer Mommy. Looks really good. We have Carly Rae Jepsen. We have Pup.
And the girls.
Oh my God. A personal favorite,
Yeah.
cigarettes after. I love cigarettes after sex. I know you guys don't like cigarettes after sex.
I'm not a fan, but yeah.
I
mean,
I don't remember.
just like a really quiet kind of laid back kind of sad vibe to it, which I really enjoy.
Speaking of laid back, sad kind of vibe, I will not let you. I will not let you gloss over the National and how excellent they are live. I know Rito isn't the biggest fan. I don't know if Rod's has ever given
I
them
like
time
them.
of day.
I like them a lot. I like
but
them a lot.
man, they are like one of the bands that I went to see because I had the opportunity. Like I was in Montreal going to a couple Habs games, go Habs go. And they just so happened to be playing, and I was a fan, but I walked away like an avid fan. They really know how to elevate their music live. They bring like 10 people on stage. They're got lots of brass brought in, and Aaron Dessner's just incredible on the guitar. and it's one of those shows that doesn't really fit the current landscape in terms of music. Like it's not in with the popular genres, but if you are willing to have a chill set and just relax and enjoy some good music, they are incredible.
I still haven't really given them enough opportunity, and I'm looking forward to the end of April here because they have a new album coming out.
Yeah.
It'll be, our sit down, our classic here. Give it a good review, and like in the past on their others, I've probably listened once or twice and never really given it too much. So, looking forward to that.
I feel like the National, they have such a cadence to, like, the lead singer, I don't know his name, but he has such a cadence to his voice. Like, you either love it or hate it right away.
Yeah.
Like, he has such a sound. It's like you're either like, oh, I don't like how that is, or you're like, oh, this is, you know what I mean, or this is great. I really do like. No, guys, I'm just here looking at the lineup. Like, there's a lot of tucked away things that are so like Peach Pits in here. Like
our first ever post, man.
Yeah,
like, they are special to us. I've been like advocating for them to get here. Like they're good Canadian boys. Like you never see them on lineups really. You never see them really touring, and I always wondered, is no one paying attention to these guys because they are friggin' amazing.
Yeah.
So like for all the Newfoundland listeners out there, everybody loves Hey Rosetta. Everybody loves Canadian music. Listen to Peach Pit. Like you will love them.
Incredible, man.
Everyone that we've shown Peach Pit has been like, this band is amazing. This is really, really good. Like no negative reviews from just word of mouth at this point.
To this day, I think everyone paid attention to our first review and then haven't really listened since, because I still run into people and they're just like, man, Peach Pit's something good.
Peach was sick. So yeah,
what about we're on review 99.
What about the other 98 bands we've done?
But no, it just speaks to how good they are. Like, it's just groovy, bluesy guitar riffs, and I don't think there's a whole lot of bands that are like them. I don't think they're blowing anyone away in terms of what they do, but they have a pretty unique sound, and it's just really feel good kind of music, man. I would love. They'd be like a really good Sunset type set too, man. Just like really groovy type stuff.
Yeah, they're great. Just a good time. Like, you're gonna enjoy just people on stage just playing their instruments and everyone's having fun. It's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
I got a few others here. So Joey Badass.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Love to see me some Joey Badass. I think that'd be a sick set.
Yeah.
Japanese Breakfast is on here again.
I
was a little bit surprised at how small she is. Like I don't know. She had a big year, but she's not big funk, so I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know.
She needs a new manager, man. She's low on every list.
I was gonna say
ESR management.
Could it be a management issue? Maybe she's like, I have a show to the day after, so like, I'll just pay me this much and I'll come for this long at this slot. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot behind the scenes you don't see, but there's definitely some fuckery going on.
Michelle Zahner, if you're listening to the TSR podcast, we will represent you.
so we also have Sophie Tucker, who is amazing in what was it, 2019, I think?
Yeah.
Right?
A lot of bands on here kind of moved up a level from what we saw. You know what I mean? Like 2 Feet, Sophie Tucker, Roofs of Soul, they all just came up a bit, right?
Well, that was the back day, wasn't it?
Yeah,
like, we went into 2 Feet. Then we went and saw FKJ. Then we came back and it was like Sophie Tucker and the Rufus into the Chemical Brothers, and it was like the most incredible day of music any of us have ever done.
I was like, this day's gonna suck.
Yeah.
I was like, Friday's the best day. There's no way this will be good. It's like
the best beat up a printer, and everyone was like, "What the fuck was that, Flume?"
I was like, "What the heck is that? A hammer? What's he doing over here?"
Throwing sheets of paper and like, I don't know what he was doing.
Last on my list are Foals, which they had that really good album. Wallows. So I feel like we talked about Wallows at some point.
Right? We have, yeah.
Biba Doobie.
Got that one song, really nice.
Song.
Yeah, cup of coffee.
Song. And the last one, I think, Roz, you probably shared a song back in the day, Tin Liquor.
Tin Liquor?
What?
Yes.
Tin
Liquor,
yeah.
Yes.
Really?
I was gonna bring it up, but it's a deeper cut on the electronic scene, but they're very much like Ben Baumer. Very good melodic house, kind of like European sound to it. It's really, really, it's 2 guys, really, really good. I'd have to see that. I'd have to see that for sure. Really good.
Yeah, I'll add one more here. They're like it's I'm probably saying this wrong. It's the Empress, but L'Impertice. I don't know. I'm not very good at French, but anyways, they're kind of like a disco band, but they're like six people, and they just have like this eclectic show. It's really interesting live. They're like second line here. I think they got a huge following in Montreal, and rightfully so. It's a cool show to stumble on, if you're there with nothing else to be into.
Do you guys wonder how they pay when you have like 6 members rather than like 2 or 3 members? Like, it's like you're getting less money.
I assume they all have contracts.
Do you think like do you think the guy in the French horn gets paid like the least?
French horn.
That's why Win Butler's brother left Arcade He wasn't getting paid enough money.
Oh, really? It's like
he was just a French. I don't know. I'm making that up.
talking some slander here. Yeah, the French horn Win Brothers' French horn brother just got quit the band.
One we didn't mention, and it's not something that I'm super familiar with, but the Flaming Lips on the top line for Friday. I know a few songs, but I know that Yoshimi Battles the Pink Rabbits is extremely recognized in the indie scene as like a forward moving album and whatnot. So one of the things that Osheaga always does is they always find one of these random nowhere else type shows. Like I remember they had Mos Def one time, and then like he wasn't anywhere. I can think of a few. Like they were the only Canadian fest, I think, and only 2 in North America. They got Radiohead when they played. It's just like they're super well respected. And I just harp on it, is like you will not have a bad time. You could know 0 artists on this and just show up.
It's so diverse.
An incredible weekend. Weekend.
Oh, Alex G's here too, man. They got a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, Fred's here too, which we haven't even mentioned.
Fred's there doing his thing. It's actually like Osheaga this year. They did a really good job. There's one on here I'm just looking right now that I don't know if you guys have been into, but I got really into his EP that came out a couple months ago, Goth Babe. I really enjoyed Goth Babe. He's there too.
Wasn't it one of our followers gave us a Goth Babe song on that?
Probably, yeah. We probably gotten some Goth Babe because
on the Too Sweet Not Sweet review. I think there was one song on there.
Yeah, that might have triggered me because I went back and listened to his he's like one guy. He's almost like 2 feet ish. Like it's like electronic, but he sings really like he has a beautiful, like really nice voice. Like, yeah, I'm a big Goth Babe guy, and he's there too. Pulp, God, you keep looking, you keep seeing more stuff.
Yeah, and I would super go see DJ Seinfeld too, just because I like Seinfeld.
I was gonna say, do you think it's like a guy? Do you think it's a guy like on 2 vinyls going like, what's the deal? What's the deal with airline food?
It's just different remixes of the theme song.
Yeah, bro. Oh, that slaps. I would go to that.
DJ Seinfeld apparently looks like Diplo.
Really? I thought he looked like Seinfeld.
No.
Yeah, this is Osheaga, you did good.
Yeah, you did great, Osheaga.
Answer, respond to our emails. you did good.
we would be happy to certainly cover your festival. We're coming. We're coming.
We'll come on a higher level if you invite us. Man,
and I mean, like, let's just sort of roll back for a minute. Like, there's people here that I have not heard of that are on like the top 2 lines, and as much as we have a blog, these guys do this for a living. They research and find excellent music. We all have day jobs. We get like 1 album a week, so you have the people that can put together this good of a lineup obviously know what they're doing with these other bands as well. So there's definitely other stuff here to dig into on top of what we've even talked about. Like,
yeah, I have the utmost faith in these guys. Like I've heard of so many, or I've experienced so many shows and seen so many bands I've never heard in my life at Osheaga, and I've like took that away, and like still to this day know those bands.
A lot of times that's the best part.
Yeah,
right?
Digging into the lineup.
Just going somewhere you haven't seen before, someone you haven't seen before, enjoying it, and coming away with a new discography to dive into or whatnot.
Well, I
Mhm.
mean, for the longest time, like before we started TSR, like that's really the only way I got new music was March came, Osheaga dropped their lineup, and we were always tentatively going. Whether we ended up going or not, there was always talk of us going. So you just dug into the Osheaga lineup, and it's how I found so much friggin' music.
Yeah.
And continue to do so. Like,
And
you can't be intimidated by not knowing 90% of the names.
no,
It's just a
that's the
reality.
that's
Yeah.
the fun of it.
It's opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the fun
Yeah.
of it. And the craziest part is like we as a group have been going to music festivals for the past 10 years. And you'd think over 10 years there'd be some evolution or some changes. Osheaga's still the top billing. Osheaga's still like the one you go to have to see like the best
Yeah.
stuff. You know what I mean? Nothing has changed. Like that's from 2013 to 2023. They're still putting out the best show, which is very, very impressive.
Before we move on, Osheaga would be a great time. We may be having something coming in the near future. Stay tuned on that. But we're gonna move forward to our 100th album as a group.
So, you guys like before? First off, holy fuck shit! Like, I can't believe I can't believe we actually made it to 100 albums. Like, I never would have actually thought we would have got there.
Like,
So that's really cool. And if anyone follows us, I assume follows us on Instagram. If you're listening to this, is we recently teased a question on who we wanted, who we thought you guys would guess as their 100th album, or who
yeah.
do you thought we
Or
should
what would you
review, or
do?
something?
Who,
What
yeah,
would you
what
do
would
if
you
you were us?
pick?
So one person did nail it, but do you want to go through some of the ones that people guessed, or do you just want to drop
Do you guys have a
what it
list?
is?
I don't. Oh, God, I don't even remember.
I think
was going.
I think I could
Yeah.
probably dig it up.
If you want to riff it off, I know like
I know we had like Killers, Jack Johnson.
Yes, banana pancakes.
That one girl.
banana. Oh yes,
that
banana pancakes.
that one girl had like two of our actual realistic options.
So I'm trying to look back our archive here, see if we can. Where did we do that? When did we do that?
God, that was like a million years
Let's
ago.
see. We had someone said Miley Cyrus's "Endless Summer Vacation." Then we had the Marshall Mathers LP, "Hot Fuss" by the Killers, "OK Computer," Radiohead, Arcade Fire's "Funeral,"
10 minutes.
That would be pretty fuck. That'd be pretty fucking good.
Jack Johnson, Jay-Z, the Black Album, Taylor Swift's debut album, and our 100th album was also guessed.
It's a lot of good. Like, listen, a lot of those could have been good. Great 100 album.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So
I specifically like Marshall Mathers LP and the Killers. That Hot Fuzz is a great album.
Hot Fuzz is an excellent album. It's carried them just like I like their. Is it Old? I forget the other album, but Hot Fuzz is incredible.
The next one was good too, and
yeah, but they've just kind of fallen off. But Hot Fuzz is so good that they can still headline festivals. Like that's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
like, you think you'd fall
and they put out an album about their hometown and a guy on a bike, and
you got like Sam's Town, Day and Age, Battleborn.
Sam's Town is that's this one. So
2006, Jesus Christ.
Before we release it, I will say this: it's easily been our most requested, whether it's through text, actually written request, or just out drinking with your friends and people are like, I want to know your thoughts on this album. It just so happens that we live in the same country as this artist and near and dear to us, a big part of our childhoods in terms of how old we are. But it was just kind of like a kick-ass album. Does anyone want to drop it? Or
I just want to say that in the earlier days of social media when you post like stupid shit, like and you look back on it, you're like, why did I post that? Well, once I put this CD in the CD holder, and before I pushed it in, I took a picture of it and posted on Instagram.
Yeah. This album is one of the ones that I feel like is like one of the only ones that I feel like I had good taste when I was younger. It was like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, and I was just listening to a bunch of garbage. And then because this was also a female artist and super popular around here, can you imagine you could have went to a concert and seen Radiohead open for this artist? That's so fucked.
Wait,
Wow.
are you telling me that chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavored water was not high quality music? I'm like a little offended over here.
All right, so if you haven't guessed it yet, we're gonna drop for our 100th album, "Jagged Little Pill" by Alanis Morissette.
Yeah, buddy.
I think it's gonna be a high rated one. I don't know where the guys fall, but I like it a lot. Excited to write it. Pretty freaking cool that we made it to 100 from like, if you guys seen us at the start, it was like we were laughing at today, but it's like jot notes on a Word file to full podcasts, 100 written reviews, which, I mean, I think we're pretty damn good at writing now. Like we posted Deadmau5's review the other day, and Reed had to put a disclaimer on the Instagram post to ask people not to go read our website because it's
that's the thing. Like the amount of the room for error these days. Like if we miss a review and we pulled everything good out of the vault. At this point, we're pulling out some garbage. So if we gotta go to the vault, there's gonna be some problems.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be good.
Yeah, we just did Boy Genius, and I was not linking my Lucy Dacus review.
I think
it's okay. I already linked it. I linked it on mine, so it's linked. So they'll get it.
But you know what? Some insight for the listener. It's a lot more difficult to write about something you don't like or is mediocre. When you like have a lot of good positive things to say, it's just a lot easier, and it comes naturally. It just flows, and you're like, okay, I can have 4 paragraphs. These are my topics, blah blah blah. But when it's bad, you're just like, how many ways can I describe that this is bad?
Yeah, it's a game of extremes. Like if you really like it or if you really hate it, it's actually really easy to write. You can just talk shit. It's the middle, like it's kind of good. It's okay. Like I don't like this. Like it's like 6.5 to 7.5 is tough. It's really tough.
I find it super hard. Like when say it's like someone like Drake and it's not good, I will gladly sit down and roast that. But like if we're doing something that I'm trying to encourage listeners to listen to, like bands that they might have not have heard of, like say M83, like not a lot of people like it, but I was like, this band could be something that a lot of people would like. So
yeah,
how I got to sit here and try to find a good way to encourage you to listen to this if this is your kind of music, even though it's friggin' middle of the road. Like I'll
not
gladly,
like it's like not for me, maybe for thee kind of thing. Like
yeah,
you're trying to push new music that could be good objectively, but I don't like it personally, but I want people to hear it. So it's guys, 2 Sweet Review. This is not easy work. Anyone listen. It's not an easy job. Okay. This is hard.
I don't want any sympathy or anything, but we choose to do this.
We're on 100.
We're on 100. We've done it 100 times for you, the fans, is what we've done this for. So guys, we've covered a lot of ground. We haven't gotten together since Christmas, which I miss dearly, being actually together with microphones. It was actually a beautiful thing. But we went over the festival we're going to as a trio, which is amazing. Primavera sound, Osheaga, doesn't get better than that. Live music. We would love to see some people that listen to us there as well. And maybe we'll talk about that at another time. But until then, everyone, be on the lookout for our 100th review, Alanis Morissette, and stay tuned. Sweet!